Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hello. My name is Kloee Taylor, and I believe that we have the most autumnal, most cozy, vibey corner here of the internet. So if you like the way I read, you like my style, or you just love autumn, be sure to hit the subscribe button and become a member of the Pumpkin Patch. We would love to have you here. Today's reading, I feel like, is a very special one because many of you know these are kind of my specialty on my channel. I try not to do them too often because I think that the messages are just so vital and important to the collective that I never want to like over produce them. But today, I always encourage those of you that this reading really resonates with you to send it to a friend, to send it to somebody you care about, because this might just be the message that really helps them. I set the intention that today, anybody who is a light worker, a starseed, or a highly sensitive person will be drawn to my channel, and or even my empaths as well, that this message will be comforting to you. It will help you in whatever situation you're in right now. And we're doing so many cool things in this reading. So first and foremost, I do want to let y'all know that this reading is not just special because we don't do them very often, but it's also special because this video is actually sponsored by, and I can't even believe I'm saying it, Bow Life. Bow Life, which is my girl here on YouTube, Vanessa Samina's company. Many of you know that I already wear a lot of the jewelry from her store. I love her tarot deck, which is actually right here. We're using it today in this reading. This is what the box looks like. If any of you ever want to get that for yourself, I always link it down below whenever I use it. But this video is actually sponsored by Bow Life. So I have some really beautiful pieces to show you today. And in each reading, they're going to go with each reading. So I just want to let you know that if you like anything that you see that I show you from there, including the tarot deck and the cards that we'll be using today, at least these ones are from Bow Life. You can get 10% off of your purchase over there if you use the code PUMPKIN10. So let me go ahead and show you some of the pieces that we have that are going to correspond to this reading. And we're also going to get into a little bit of book divination, which many of you, that's like your favorite part about these readings. So you will have a book to choose. And I'm also doing something for my Claire audience today that is inspired by Rosology here on YouTube. So first and foremost, let me kind of get you some differentiators for these piles so you can see maybe just help you decide a little more if you're into crystals or jewelry pieces or things like that. So first and foremost, we have this beautiful ring from Bow Life. And this ring, I believe it is the obsidian piece from her shop. It looks the most similar. Unfortunately, I don't actually know which one it is, but like I said, from what I've seen on the shop, it looks like it is the obsidian piece, and I absolutely love it. I like it because you can actually change it to fit your ring size, like you just kind of bend it. I have several of these rings. You have seen them in my readings. Many of you ask me about them. They're so gorgeous. They really help amp up my vibration, or whatever crystal intention is or energy is in them really helps to kind of amp up the energies that I'm trying to bring into a reading. So I love these. So that's going to go with pile number 1. So if you really like that ring, that might be a symbol to you that you are into that pile. Pile number 2 is going to be this beautiful, let me get the focus here. This beautiful carnelian piece. And carnelian is good for so many things. It connects us to our root chakra. It also can help with attractiveness, is something that I've heard from a lot of people lately. I know it's kind of popular on TikTok right now, but Bow Life actually carries a myriad of beautiful crystals. This is just one of the many that you'll find there. So this is going to go with pile number 2. And then for pile number 3, we actually have this piece here. Let me focus again. We have this beautiful piece here, which is a pendulum, and pendulums are so great. I know some people think that they're kind of scary, but ultimately they just help us connect to our own energy, and they can actually help you get like really quick answers to like yes, no things. I use a pendulum sometimes when I read for myself or need a quick answer to something, but we're going to go ahead and and this one is actually rose quartz, which is really cool because it amplifies that loving, sweet vibration of rose quartz. But I'm going to go ahead and put that on pile number 3. So that's going to be for you, pile number 3. And I just want to say, before we get into the sounds for those of you that are clairaudient, I just want to say thank you so much to Vanessa Samina, to Bow Life, to all of the employees there that have made this collaboration possible. I am so beyond grateful. Like I said, even before that email came into my inbox, into my management's inbox, I was already a big supporter and a big fan. So that really meant a lot to me that I get to work with Bow Life and with Vanessa Samina. So thank you so much to her. And again, if you like any of these pieces, I would highly encourage you to head over to her store to check out what's there. There are so many more things than this. Like I said, I have so many jewelry pieces personally. There are crystal water bottles, crystal decanters. There's jewelry that's different from even this. There's necklaces, earrings, prayer beads, tarot decks, so many beautiful things. So definitely head over there and check it out if you are interested, and use my code PUMPKIN10 for a 10% off discount. And I also want to mention one last thing before we go over to the sounds and the books. That another thing that I really enjoy about it, I don't know if this is available in every single country, but at least in America and where I am, I had it available to me. A lot of her stuff you can also do like pay-in-fors for, which I have done a multitude of times for myself. So, if you're feeling like you need to treat yourself, need a little crystal energy, you can also do it that way if it's available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the books that correspond to each pile, which if you don't know anything about book divination, basically at the end of each reading, I'm going to choose a random page from each of these books that I have, and there's going to be a message in there for you. So many people really like this more than I think almost the readings. So if it's something you've never heard of or never seen, just, I guess, keep your eyes and ears open for it. But we have for pile number 1, this is a book I've never shown to y'all on the channel. This is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weist. This is one that I'm currently reading for myself, and it has been so helpful on my own mental health journey. So that's going to be for you, pile number 1, with the obsidian ring. And then we also have for you pile number 2 with the carnelian. We will be doing Letters to a Starseed. We've used this on the channel before. Many of you really love it. And all of these books will be linked down below as well if you're curious about them. And then we also have Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. And Letters to a Starseed, I don't know if I said, is also by Rebecca Campbell. Great reading material. So love all of them. And now I'm going to do something I've never done before, and I will turn on the meditation music in a little bit and allow you to choose that way. But I'm going to do a segment for those of you that are clairaudient, that audio really helps you choose your pile. And I'll put the text on the screen to tell you which sound is for which. But I'm going to be using a kalimba to do this today. This is actually a gift from my husband. I will link this down below for you as well if you're interested. It's a really cool way to get like sound healing in at a fraction of the cost, because sound bowls can be quite expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and be quiet, play a few notes for each pile, and those of you that identify as being clairaudient, that might help you make a decision on which pile will be for you. And I also need to give a shout out to my girl Rosology here on YouTube. This is something that I love about her channel that she always does. She uses sound bowls, but I think it's such a great addition and something that I would like to add more to my channel. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. pile number 1, those of you that chose the obsidian ring, which I will go ahead and put on. I'll probably wear this for the remainder of the reading. I've actually been sitting on this for quite some time before showing it off. And so I don't think I've even worn it in a video because I was waiting to do this video to show it off. So I'm so happy I finally get to wear it. But basically, what I'm seeing here for you, we have the Queen of Crystals, the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Diamonds, the Ace of Crystals, and the Three of Crystals. And I feel like what your spiritual team wants you to know, what the universe wants you to know right now is many of you maybe have been working on rebuilding your self-confidence, your self-trust, and they see that. And it's a good thing. Like, keep doing that. This is a confirmation to you that you should keep working on instilling confidence in yourself and building your self-trust. If you don't know where to start with that, I will always encourage, I get this from Dr. Nicole LePera, who is the holistic psychologist online. She always talks about reparenting the self, keeping small promises to the self, and doing that in repetition to build self-trust over time. And so that is like one way that you can kind of start to do that. But I feel like this is something that you've been working on, maybe even during this past Leo season, which the Queen of Wands to me is big Leo energy. And I mean, there's even lions depicted down here. If I don't know how well you can see them, but there are lions here, which is the symbol for Leo. Some of you could even be Leos, but Spirit is really saying to keep doing that, to keep believing in yourself. And remember that your path with the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Diamonds, I'm really getting this, like, there is a fear of making the wrong choice. There is a fear of our path not being the right one or not being good enough, or, oh my goodness, my plant over here is getting upsetty by my candle. Let me push that back a little. But oh, that is such a powerful message. You literally don't need, I've said this before, but you don't need to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And that's something that you're learning right now. With the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Diamonds coming out so strongly, though, this is somebody who's questioning their path and not sure of which step to take. And it's almost like this very like shaky energy. There isn't a sense of a big foundation. There isn't, like, you feel like you're just walking through really unstable ground right now. And Spirit says, keep your head high. That's what I keep hearing. Keep your head high. I'm also hearing, pile number 1, that you need to be working on your crown chakra and your connection to divinity and to your ancestors and to your spiritual team. If you've already done things recently to do that, they're saying good job. But those of you that have not, I always recommend getting a 7-day candle, just a white one for your spiritual team. Ask them, like, offer that candle up to them to basically make themselves more known and more present in your life. And burn it as often as you can whenever you're home and can be around it. But I feel like there's a lot of questioning going on here. There's a lot of, I don't know what to do. I don't want to make a wrong choice. What if what I'm doing isn't going to work? And I think what also is so interesting is we have the Seven of Diamonds here with the flowers all over this woman, or this feminine presence. And then we also have the flowers depicted up here in one of these cups too. And these resemble like coins basically, or pentacles. But what I think is so interesting is I do believe that you are choosing the path of the most abundance for you right now. And it doesn't even have to be like an abundance of money. It can be an abundance of love, an abundance of connection, an abundance of feeling more confident, feeling more secure. It's whatever thing you are looking for in abundance. I do believe that you are on the right path for that. And that's something that Spirit also wants you to know and to keep putting one foot in front of the other. We also have the Ace of Crystals for you. And what I think is really cool about this Ace of Crystals is, I don't know how well the camera picks it up because I really need to replace the camera for this channel. It's time for the upgrade. After I move in a few months, I'm planning, that's like my first big purchase, is I'm going to buy a new camera. But there's a tower back here. And what I'm hearing from Spirit about this card is that many of you have really suffered. You have really been going through it, whether it has been mentally, physically, something has been really shaken down in your life. And you're feeling very lacking of hope, even though you're trying to reinstill this confident part of yourself. And Spirit is saying, those of you that are feeling so hopeless and so lost, the tower doesn't last forever. The tower in tarot is usually a big shakedown and a big upset, and something kind of big in your life shifts. But it doesn't last forever. And the Ace of Crystals is here to tell us that you will be inspired again. You will want to take up new hobbies again. Life will look beautiful to you again. This is not forever. And to just keep leaning into yourself. I think it's really amazing that you, pile number 1, would have chosen the book The Mountain Is You. I want to talk more about that when we get to the book portion of this, but I think it's very appropriate for what we're looking at here. Now, we also have the 3 of Crystals, and this card to me signifies, it kind of goes hand in hand. We have this like building happening here where the Ace of Crystals builds into the 3 of Crystals. I feel like you're not going to have a very hard time in the very near future of, if you come into this place of like needing to make decisions about your life, I think that is actually going to start to come easier to you, because we don't have the 2 here. We go straight from a 1 to a 3. And the 3 is actually about starting to set out on the journey, starting to make those decisions, starting to get creative and put something into progress mode. And I feel like this is really good. This is good. This is, honestly, I feel like those of you that chose this pile, you're also someone that when you want to change something about your life, you want to change everything in an instant. Very Queen of Wands, okay? Or Queen of Crystals over there. But what Spirit is asking you to do is to go a little bit slower. You don't plant seeds and then dig up the earth every day to see if the seeds are growing. You let them grow. And so I think what we're really coming to here is it's okay to be easier on yourself. It's okay to be gentle. It's okay to take it one day at a time and to go slow. These are all very beginning process cards here, these 2. So we also have for you, pile number 1, the Queen of Fire. Oh my gosh, this is literally the Queen of Wands in a different deck. You got basically 2 Queen of Wands cards. We also have for you the 7 of Swords, or the 7 of Air. And I'll link all these decks down below for you as well if you want to get your hands on any of them. And then we also have the 8 of Fire. I really love this because I feel like as you kind of move forward in your own journey with self right now, the confidence is going to happen. Even if you pulled on this reading and like you picked up on this pile and this was the one you chose, because obviously you're listening to it, you're here. Even if when you first saw that Queen of Crystals or Queen of Wands card, you were like, ugh, I don't feel confident. I'm telling you, Spirit wants you to know that you are stepping into one of the most confident timelines for yourself. And it has to kind of be a little bit harder in the beginning, because what Spirit is doing is making you stronger. You are becoming more confident. You are finding inner peace, and you are making yourself the safest place for you. You, like, after this, I'm not saying that nothing will ever take you down again, because that's honestly life. We have to take the good with the bad, and it's a paradox, right? It's everything is everything, and there's always a counterpoint to this point. And anyways, with the Queen of Fire though, Spirit is saying that you are being made more confident at this time. So embrace this energy of change, because that's really what it is it's change, but we feel afraid of it. And with the 7 of Swords coming out, this is also a big indication to me that it's time to also start studying, because we do have this masculine presence here holding a book. Swords or air cards always respond to our mental intellect. And This man is also like reaching towards something, it looks like, with one hand. It actually looks like he maybe even has like some prayer beads or something looped around this hand. And then there's a book here. I feel like many of you are being asked to establish spiritual routines, especially as we come into this Virgo season. If you're watching this video as it's going live, Virgo season, I believe, actually started like today or yesterday somewhere, or today if you're seeing it on Patreon, most likely. But if you're seeing this video, on YouTube, then I believe it started yesterday. So this is really a call forward to get into a spiritual routine that really, like, nobody's going to do it for you, basically. Nobody's going to go in, nobody's going to come rescue you and start making you do these things. You have to start putting one foot in front of the other and going for it. And with the Eight of Fire here, the Eight of Fire card, this is all about dancing with your manifestations. This to me is such a beautiful card of being in the divine flow of manifestation and allowing yourself to be seen, to shine. Again, so pile number one, there is so much confidence coming to you very soon. If you're not feeling it already, which you might be, it is coming very soon, because there is way too much dancing with life, being in a high vibration. There is way too much like confident energy showing up. All of these cards to me, this one, and this one, all really talk about that. Especially those of you that maybe feel really uncertain in your spirituality, your day-to-day routines, or even just in pursuing your passions. This is something that's going to be changing for you. So we also have for you, pile number one, the card of the Mystic. And we also have for you the card of the Vow. And the Mystic I like because this is an archetype card, and this talks about you becoming the mystic of your life, about not necessarily relying on others to do that for you. And don't get me wrong, our mystics are needed. Our tarot card readers are needed. Our psychologists are needed. Our witches are needed. You know, we all serve a beautiful divine purpose in helping each other grow, helping ourselves grow, and in changing the collective in some way. Because that's what we all do. We all influence the energy around us, and that can trickle outward really far to relatives, to the world even sometimes. And I feel like with the card of the Mystic, you're actually being called at this time to become the mystic of your life, to become the person that is self-assured, is confident, and doesn't have to look towards others for that. And I feel like even me saying this as a tarot card reader, as my career, people might say, but if everybody became the mystic, wouldn't that make your job obsolete? No, that's all I'm here to do, is empower everybody else. And I feel like that work will never truly be done. And if it is, I will have fully served my purpose. So I think ultimately it's important to become the mystic of your own life, to become the person that understands your spirituality deeply and feels connected deeply, so that you are able to move in a way that supports who you are trying to become. Because when you raise your vibration, you raise the vibration of everybody around you, even if it's only a little bit. So we also have for you the card of Sanctuary. And this card says, a sanctuary resides inside you. I just talked about this. Hold on. A sanctuary resides inside you no matter what is happening. The inner temple beckons you to enter. Take a deep breath, enter, sit down on the throne of your own heart. Wow, I got the chills from like head to toe, not just like in one part of my body, which happens often. I literally got head to toe chills. I literally was just telling y'all earlier in the reading that you need to start creating the safe space within inside you, trusting yourself more. That's what this is about. Creating sanctuary within yourself, not feeling like you have to go outside of you to find that sanctuary. Because ultimately, we are our greatest teacher. We are our own greatest temple. We are our own greatest life's work. And with sanctuary, it's time for you to reclaim that. So we also have for you the card of compassion. As you pray each day, which I always want to say to those of you, and I think it's important to make this stuff known Because I know some people, when it comes to like organized religion, some people have been really hurt by it. And I've been through that myself. So I always want to remind those of you that you don't pray or you don't believe in God, this is a safe space for you. And even those of you that do, this is also a safe space for you. Prayer doesn't have to be the way that Catholicism or Christianity teaches it. Prayer can be to yourself, to the earth, to the universe, to the cosmos. You know, prayer can be more than just the way that it's taught. So, as you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear universe, help me feel ever deepening self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. Oh, that's beautiful. So that's something that you really need to embrace along this journey right now, is more self-compassion. That's going to bring you to your most authentic and most secure self, is having a deep sense of compassion, because many of you are judging yourselves at every single move that you make, and it is hurting you in your process of doing things. So we have to come to a place where we can start talking ourselves off that ledge. And something that I think really helps, this might work for you, it might not. Something that I think really helps is to start naming your thoughts. When you think of something that is not nice to yourself, remind yourself, oh, that's my really judgmental thought. I don't have to entertain that. Oh, that's my really anxious thought. I don't have to entertain that. Oh, that's my angry thought. I don't have to entertain that. You know, I'm not saying don't feel your feelings, because you absolutely should. But sometimes it's all we've ever known. And so we will play these thoughts out on repeat instead of becoming a gentle observer of them. And we don't have to entertain every single story that our brain feeds to us. Have a little more self-compassion. And I forgot to talk about this card, actually, the vow. So the vow over here, I feel like this answer or this message that's coming through with the vow is quite simple. It is actually just to recommit to yourself, to vow to yourself that you are going to be here for yourself. You've been here the entire time that you have walked this planet, from your very first breath, and you're going to be here until you take your last. So commit to yourself. There is no greater work that you will do in this lifetime. I promise. So, oh my gosh, I literally said this. I can't make this stuff up, y'all. The last card that you have is paradox. I literally said everything is paradoxical, which it is. That's kind of the silly bit of our universe here. Paradoxes are so confusing, but that's kind of the beauty of them at the same time, is everything contradicts itself. And this is why it's so important, those of you that don't feel self-assured, is to remember that no matter what you believe or what you say or what you do, there's always going to be a counter story. There's always going to be a counterpoint. And it's okay to make room for those things, but it's time for you to decide what you believe in, who you want to be, not with the judgment of other people involved. Okay, so we also have for you The Mountain is You, which I want to talk about this book with y'all. So The Mountain is You, Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery by Brianna Weist. And this book, it came to me at like the perfect time. Many of you know, especially if you're a part of my Patreon, which link down below, if you want exclusive and extra readings, you can join over there. I had been really going through and I still kind of am, but it's getting a lot better. I've been going through like a really hard mental time the last couple of months. Something happened that I will be talking about in my podcast next month that really shifted me and really unseated me and unsettled me. And I've been really working through the healing process right now. And this book came at the perfect time. And every page has been like a pierce to my heart in the best way. Every page has been so opening my mind, teaching me new things, and allowing myself grace to be the mountain, to climb my own mountain that is me. And I feel like if any of you are really struggling, this can be a book that can be it's not the answer. Like I said, we have to take that upon ourselves to go to bat for ourselves, to commit to ourselves, to our own healing. There's nobody that's going to be able to do it for you, but there are tools that we can take along the way. And I feel like this is a really great tool to anybody that is kind of going through it. It's just been a really good eye-opening read. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip to a random page. Okay. So we got for you page 83. Your subconscious mind is trying to communicate with you. Within our self-sabotaging behaviors lies incredible wisdom. Not only can they tell us how and what we have been traumatized by, they can also show us what we really need. Embedded within each self-sabotaging behavior is actually the key to unlock it. If only we can understand it first. These are a few brief examples of how your subconscious mind might be trying to communicate with you through your behaviors. The way you are self-sabotaging. Going back to the same person who broke you in a relationship. This could be a platonic friend, but is most commonly a former romantic partner. What your subconscious mind might want to tell you, or might want you to know. It could be time to reevaluate your childhood relationships. If you find something comforting or appealing about someone who hurt you, there's usually a reason. The way you are self-sabotaging, attracting people who are too broken to commit in real life. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You are not too broken to find someone who actually wants you. And when you begin to recognize that you are worthy of being committed to, you'll start choosing partners who do that. The way you are self-sabotaging, feeling unhappy even if nothing is wrong, and really you've gotten everything you wanted in life. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You're probably expecting outside things to make you feel good rather than relying on changing how you think and what you focus on. No outward accomplishment is going to give you a true and lasting sense of inner peace, and your discomfort, despite your accomplishments, is calling attention to that. The way you are self-sabotaging, pushing people away. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You want people to love and accept you so much that the stress of it all makes you isolate yourself from the pain, effectively creating the reality you're trying to avoid. Alternatively, needing solitude too often usually means there is a discrepancy between who you pretend to be and who you actually are. When you show up to your life more authentically, it becomes easier to have people around you as it requires less effort. The way you are self-sabotaging. Automatically believing what you think and feel is true, what your subconscious mind might want you to know. You want to worry because it feels comfortable and therefore safer. The more you blindly trust every random thought or feeling that passes through you, the more you are going to be at a whim of what's happening around you. You must learn to steady yourself in clarity, truth, and groundedness, and be able to mentally discern between what is helpful and what is not. The way you are self-sabotaging, eating poorly when you don't want to. What your subconscious mind, hold on, I want to see how long. Okay, we're not going to read this whole passage because it's very long, like 3 or 4 more pages, but we'll finish out this section. Eating poorly when you don't want to. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You are doing too much, or you're not giving yourself enough rest and nourishment. You are being too extreme. This is why your body is requiring that you continue to fuel it. Alternatively, it could be that you are emotionally hungry, and because you are not giving yourself the true experience you crave, you are satisfying your hunger another way. The way you are self-sabotaging, not doing the work you know would help move your career forward. What your subconscious mind might want you to know. You might not be as clear as you think you are on what you want to be doing. If it isn't flowing, there's a reason. Instead of trying to push through and continually hit the same wall over and over and over again, take a step back. Maybe it's time to regroup, re-strategize, or seriously think about why you're trying to take the steps you are. Something needs to change. It's probably not just your motivation. Okay, so this goes on for a few more pages, and that's not the whole book, like that's just one section of it, but I hope that helped you. Maybe some of you are dealing with some of those things, and that was some of the answers you needed. Maybe this book inspired you and you want to get it for yourself. Again, I'll link it down below for you. And that is what I have for you, pile number 1. So please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, which you get exclusive readings, early access readings. You also get a card of the month, early access to horoscopes, bonus content. There are so many more good things over there, and I try to make the pricing like pretty like good, like to meet everybody at every stage of where they are. So definitely check it out if you're interested. It really supports my channel. So I certainly appreciate having you there. Those of you that are Patreon members, don't forget to check out Bow Life's store where you can get this ring, tarot decks, so much more. And use code PUMPKIN10 for 10% off your order. Thank you again so much to Bow Life and Vanessa Samina. I really appreciate it. And if you would like to support me, I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings, so if this reading really resonated with you and you feel like you would like to, it is never an expectation, but certainly appreciated. I have that down below. And if you'd like to follow me elsewhere, I have my Instagram and TikTok where I'm at Kloee Taylor. Virgo horoscopes just went up on my Instagram, so if you want to check those out, make sure that you do. And I love you so much, Pumpkin. You've got this. I think you're much farther ahead than you think, as my good friend Hillary would say. And I think you're doing a good job, so keep going. All right. I love you, Pumpkin. Bye. All right, pile number 2. If you chose this reading, you would have chosen the carnelian crystal. So just don't forget that if you want to get some crystals for yourself, that you can use my code PUMPKIN10 to get 10% off at bowlife.com, which the website will be listed down below as well. And let's go ahead and get into this reading. So we have for you the Page of Swords, the 3 of Diamonds, the 4 of Swords, the Queen of Diamonds, and the Knight of Swords. Lots of pentacle and sword energy here because diamonds represent pentacles in this deck, which also this deck is from Bow Life as well. But with the Page of Swords, I feel that right now you might feel like you have some really good ideas, and Spirit is saying that you do. You're being reaffirmed of that you have some really good ideas, that whatever you've been thinking about doing, keep following that thread. Keep going down the path of allowing yourself to think up and imagine new ideas. But right now you're just at the thinking stage. It's not quite time for you yet to start acting upon things. It's actually time for you to start, if anything, brainstorming. And actually, I'm also hearing from Spirit that those of you that feel like you're in any kind of a rut right now, brainstorming is actually something you should be doing. Like brainstorming ideas as to either why you feel like you're feeling that way, or brainstorming ways to kind of bring yourself out of it. I'm hearing that brainstorming is going to be something that will be a very valuable tool to you. And if you don't know how to brainstorm, or you've never done that or heard of it, basically you just get out a piece of paper and a pen. You can do it on a computer too, but I think when we are really trying to focus, a pen and a paper is best if you have access, just because it actually does more for your brain and your neural pathways when you actually physically write versus type. But with the Page of Swords, this is all about like getting that piece of paper out, writing down ideas, or even journaling, I'm hearing is going to be a good practice for you right now. But just writing down ideas, writing down maybe why things you feel like haven't worked, or why they could work, or, you know, just letting yourself go down that path of trying to kind of mentally map some things out. And if you do anything right now, Spirit is saying with the 3 of Diamonds that garnering support right now is going to be a good thing. So whether this is talking to somebody you love and trust, whether this is actually getting support for some of your ideas, actually talking to like a friend or a mentor or a family member that you really trust is going to be a good idea right now. And with the 4 of Swords and the Queen of Diamonds, before you actually really act on anything or change anything, you're also being told to get deep rest. I feel like the 4 of Swords follows my readings around. I'm thinking that a lot of y'all that choose to view my readings, some of you maybe really need to continually be told that rest is really important, that certain things can wait, and it's very vital to your health at this time. I mean, we also have Uranus transiting through the sign of Taurus. I want to say it was Bahati Life here on YouTube that did a whole video talking about this, but basically, and this transit isn't going to change for like the next 4 or 5 years. We have Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which it doesn't like to be there, but we really can't take our health for granted right now. And I mean, nor should we ever. But right now, while that transit is happening in particular, it's like we cannot wait anymore. We have to be prioritizing ourselves. And maybe that is, maybe you're thinking, oh, but I have this job that I have to work. That could be part of the ideas, is figuring out a way that you could make money differently, or finding a job that really honors your self-care. I have a friend, a very close friend, that for like the first year or so that I spent getting to know her was in a job that made her so miserable. And it wasn't until like the last few months, which it was a scary time, there was a lot of change going on, but found a new job doing the same line of work, but they treat them so much better. And like, she loves her job now, is excited to go to it every day, gets to like, has more freedom. And even though it's the same hours, the same type of work, the morale of the company was so much better that she feels so much better. So even things like that. But Spirit is ultimately saying that it's a time for you to get deep, replenishing rest. Those of you that have not been sleeping, that have been feeling very like restless at nights, Spirit is also saying to start prioritizing your sleep. If that means going to bed with no electronics, going to bed with a book, maybe even upgrading your bedding. Something that I did recently that really made a huge difference in my sleep quality is I invested in, and I'm not pregnant, but I invested in a pregnancy pillow because I have a lot of alignment issues in my body when it comes to my skeletal structure. And I invested in a pregnancy pillow and also a really high quality memory foam mattress topper. Now, I understand not everybody has access to be able to do that at this time, but if you have the means, you can also see if you can find those things secondhand. I mean, you might want to super disinfect the bedding stuff, but I know that people do that as well. It's an option. But if you're able to, anything you can do to upgrade your quality of sleep is going to be beneficial for you right now. And with the Queen of Diamonds, this is also a card that is all about nurturing yourself. This is also a card that often talks about having a successful at-home business, as well as being able to like maintain the home front at the same time. And it's very balanced. So those of you that want to become self-employed, I do think that this is amazing that you chose this pile, because I do feel like that's a key indicator that that is a possibility for you. You just have to learn how to take breaks and pace yourself. Those of you that are not about that life, this can also be about just nurturing yourself, giving back to yourself in a way that you are now able to nurture others because you feel so much better. And like I said, getting that deep sense of rest. And with the Knight of Swords, I like that we have this progression from a page into a knight, because remember how in the beginning of the reading I told you it's not the time for you to take action right now. It's time for you to lay low, to get rest, to garner support, and to really nurture yourself. Well, very soon you are going to want to be taking some action, because the Knight of Swords, I believe, is the most, maybe like the Knight of Wands can be like a good competitor, but I feel like the Knight of Swords is perhaps one of the most fast moving, swift knights out of all of them in the tarot deck, out of the four. And I say that because even if you look at the horse that the knight is on, it's charging forward. And you don't really see that in the other knight cards. So you will need to take action soon. And that's why you're being told to replenish yourself right now, to take care of yourself, of your essence, and make sure that you feel good so that you can carry out these plans that will be coming up. This can also be an indicator of travel coming up. Spirit is saying like to prepare for that if that's something that you've been doing. But let's go ahead and see what other cards we have for you. So we have the card of Perception. We also have the Two of Fire. And we also have the Maiden. So I feel like ultimately this is what Spirit really wants to drive home for you, is that if you are somebody that keeps telling yourself that you can't, it's time to change your perception. because there is always a reason that we are in resistance to certain things. I mean, even if I could give you an example, there was a time period here recently where I was resisting my journal for like weeks. I was like, nope, don't feel like it. Sounds like it's too much of an effort. Not going to do it. And the second I actually sat down to do it, I pushed past that resistance and I said, you know what? Let's just try. It was one of the most healing like hours of my life that I had had. I had like such a huge breakthrough, because it was what I needed. I needed to shift my perception on what would help me. And if you're ever feeling resistance in your life to rest, to create, to change career, to make some kind of a change in your life that would benefit you, this is usually a key indicator that you should do it, that you should lean into it. Because oftentimes we only resist things because we are afraid of leaving something that feels familiar and comfortable. And if we can make ourselves even a tiny bit uncomfortable, so much change can come from that. Now with the Maiden, I like this card because the Maiden to me is all about going on like a self-empowered journey, but also doing it in such a slow and a way that really allows you to have so much tender love for yourself, and giving yourself the grace and the space to enjoy the small parts of life, and knowing that it is a deeply blissful and beautiful journey forward. So it's always a really good time to, I feel like, see this card come up, especially because there's also a bunny present in this card. And I like it because bunnies always resemble like rebirth or regeneration. So I feel like this is also a message to you that you're going to be getting your power back. You're going to be feeling more revitalized, like you can step forward. You just have to start shifting the way that you're perceiving the things that you are in resistance to. Like, let's say it's your journal, for instance. You resist doing it. You think you don't know how. You give yourself every reason why you shouldn't. And then the second you crack it open, everything changes, right? But asking yourself where that resistance is coming from, why you might be feeling it, and putting one foot in front of the other and doing it anyways. And that could be a multitude of things. It doesn't just have to be a journal. That was just my example. Then with the Two of Fire, I feel like those of you, there's a few messages here with the Two of Fire. One message is that those of you that are wanting to go into business, the reason you need to wait and garner support is because you are maybe meant to have a business partner in what you're doing. And this is important for you to garner the support so that you can figure out who that person is going to be. Those of you that are not wanting to form a business, you are just changing some things in your life or thinking new things into being, making some changes. This is also a card of support. It's a finding supportive people, of finding a mentor, of finding someone that is able to assist you on your journey, not do it for you, but assist. And this to me is a sign that, like, keep yourself open to finding that. And also, I believe that the Two of Fire, at least in this deck, this also talks about us merging different parts of ourself. So maybe bringing something new to the table because you're able to do a multitude of different skills. And so you want to take that and merge things together that haven't been merged before to make something new. Like something that I think was so cool. I think it was Dark Moon Muses. I don't remember. I think they've changed their username, but they were trying to get into the VTuber space for tarot card reading. And I thought that that was such an amazing merge of things that I had never seen put together before. Which, if you don't know what a VTuber is, like it's I don't even know how to explain that. You really kind of just have to look it up. It's definitely a style of content creation though. And I'd never seen it. So merging things that you've never seen before. Now, we also have for you the card of the Cave and the Empty Room. Ooh, these are brutal. Okay. I'm not saying that to scare you. They're not brutal as in they're here to hurt you. They're brutal in the sense that if you're feeling a lot of resistance right now towards yourself, towards doing things that will better your situation, these cards are probably not going to make you feel not bad, but we're just getting more of that. So the cave, this card is all about going into our innermost sacred space, going into ourselves, going into the darkness, going into the things that scare us so that we can actually figure out the source of why we're feeling a certain way, of why we think we can't do things, of why we are allowing ourselves to stay where we are. And we can, I'm like hearing from spirit that you continue to tell yourself that you're stuck and things can't change, but they can. And it's time for you to dive into where that's coming from. And I think, honestly, some of you might actually need that mentor. You might need that person to help you facilitate asking the right questions to opening yourself up to more. And the empty room, this card to me reminds me a little bit of the void in some aspect. It's not, though. It's different. The empty room, I feel spirit is ultimately saying that some of you are afraid to dive into yourself because you are afraid that when you get there, that you're going to find nothing. You're afraid that the answers won't be there, that you yourself won't know what you need, and that you are somehow inherently broken, and you're not. The empty room in and of itself, let's say you go inward, you're trying to get answers from yourself, from your subconscious, whatever, and you feel that there is no answer there for you, nothing's coming up. The empty room in and of itself has a message for you. Even if right away you're not getting an answer, sometimes that silence is what you need the most. It is the most beautiful and bitter medicine at the same time. And I would know because I've definitely been here. I've been here and it's terrifying. It's terrifying, but I promise you, eventually you come out of the empty room. Eventually it doesn't have to be like this, but it's a start. And both of these cards, both of them, talk about going into the dark spaces of yourself that scare you. And I feel like all of us have those pieces of ourselves that we're afraid to dive into, to get deep with, but we don't have to be afraid of them, because once we go in there and see it for ourselves, that's when the real change can happen. So we also have for you independence. Oh, with this big, beautiful butterfly. I love butterflies. The more you learn to feed yourself on the inside and care for the inner child, the more freestanding you become. Help me feed and love this inner child, dear universe. So Spirit is also saying that you need to start doing the inner child work. There's a lot of wounding that has come from childhood, and it doesn't sometimes people think about wounding from childhood as like these huge catastrophic events, or like people that have suffered a lot of abuse, which sometimes that is the truth. But our minds are programmed mainly from ages 1 to age 7, or I would say it's even 0 to 7 personally. Most people say 1 to 7. I'm going to say 0 to 7 because you are like a sponge as a baby too. But we think that those things don't matter in our adult life. As we age, we think, oh, that's of the past. I don't even remember it. However, a lot of the ways that we act in relationships, we act with other people, a lot of the decisions we make, the self-defeating thoughts that we think, those aren't even from us. We've been taught by somebody else that we aren't made to shine, that we aren't made to be beautiful and amazing and authentic, and that us as we are somehow isn't enough. That doesn't come from you. You know how I know that? Because babies are not born with that. We are born literally perfectly imperfect. We don't have a concept of what it means to be worthy or valuable by society or by close loved ones. It gets programmed in so early, and it's not even because somebody looks at us and says, oh, you're broken, you're unlovable, I can't love you. It's not that. It's in the subtle ways that we start to learn and adapt to our surroundings and to our caretakers. And we don't even know it's in there sometimes until we get there and we say, oh my gosh, this has been in here the whole time. And that's where we need to go. So Spirit is ultimately saying right now as well that if you're somebody that has been very resistant to going into this stuff, this is where your healing journey is going to start. And again, I think we said this with pile number 1, nobody is going to do it for you. You have to start committing to yourself. Then we also have challenges. Unbearable situations throw you directly into the universe's arms. If you are open, please take over, divine, and guide the right actions. Please take this burden and show me your will. So I feel like if you face challenges along the way, which you will, all of us do. I'm trying to get this message from Spirit that's trying to come through. If you face challenges along the way, you need to know that not everything is meant for you to hold. I'm seeing like a bucket of hot coals and like you're just picking them up and gripping them and they're burning you. Like that's the challenge, is just putting it down and realizing you don't have to carry it. A challenge can be a challenge in the moment, and it doesn't have to be the thing that defines the rest of your life. And then we also have the Sovereign. Ooh, this is power, baby. I love it. I love that we're ending on this card. And then we're going to get into the book as well. We're not done yet. But with the Sovereign, I love this card because this is all about speaking your truth unapologetically. And this is what you're being led to through all of this. You are coming to a place where you can be unapologetically and authentically yourself. And it doesn't mean you don't care about other people's feelings. It doesn't mean you don't care about the ones that you love. It means that you're putting yourself first. And that's really what you're going through right now, is the understanding that you have to start putting you first, above your children, above your spouse, above your parents' approval, above outside validation. You. It all comes back to you. And when you get to this place, you're going to get to this place, pile number 2, where you are so frustrated and fed up by anybody who isn't doing this. Because that's usually what happens. And eventually we start to kind of change that perspective as well. But people that identify as a sovereign with this tarot deck anyways, and what it talks about is, it's people that identify with this card. They easily are frustrated by people who aren't willing to do the same work or aren't willing to go into themselves. You're going to get so good at this process that you're going to be frustrated that nobody else is doing it. Now we're going to go ahead and read to you from Letters to a Starseed. We're just going to flip to a random page and see what message the divine has for you. All right, we got for you. Let me see. Okay, I was making sure it wasn't too long. We have the awakening process and the importance of integration. Ooh, spiritual awakening time. We love it. Again, I don't know if I said, this is Letters to a Starseed by Rebecca Campbell. Link for it will be down below. The awakening process never ends. When we experience our first awakening, it can feel as though we're remembering all of the secrets of the universe. But after we come back down to earth for an integrated breath, we realize that the awakening process is a lifelong process, and that we're forever remembering and feeling into the great mystery of being a soul and having a human experience. Falling in love is like that too, and so is having really good sex. The first time it happens, we're sure we found some secret code and answer, arrived in some end space, but life is forever changing and it never stops unfolding. This is the great spiral of the human life. I've had many awakening experiences. Some have been spontaneous, while others have been more gradual and drawn out. Some have been extremely physical, while others have been more subtle and internal. Some have been ecstatic and blissful, and some absolutely excruciating. Most have been both. Some have given me answers, and others have given me questions to live into, unearthing more and more questions. The further I get into the seasons of my life, the more certain I am of the mystery itself. It's true what they say. The more we know, the less we know with certainty. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. In the West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening, and it can feel very scary when we're going through it alone. Elsewhere in the world, these can be seen as suspicious experiences, and those going through them are treated with tender care, auspicious experiences. Like laboring women or babies in the birth canal. The more awakening I experience, the more similar to birth I see the process. Many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world. That isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it is spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate, and awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded and unstable. May we all live into our awakening so we can truly seed what we came here to share. Without integration, the seeds can't live or nourish themselves. May the seeds live on long after we've gone. There are new souls coming who are calling for us to prepare the soil for them. Can you feel them? They are near. It's no secret that we're going through a global awakening right now. Even some of those who have been long asleep are beginning to stir. Ooh, I just got the chills. Much of what we once believed was certain is crumbling. Everything inauthentic or unaligned or unsustainable is falling to our feet. Ways of being that were once relied upon are no longer working. Life as we knew it isn't just changing, it's forever changed. The planets have begun their sacred dance. We're living through a time that's been predicted by medicine men and women through the ages. Be mindful of those who have paved the way for you. Those who have painstakingly prepared the bed so you could wake up from your slumber more easily than they did. And if you've been the one who's painstakingly made the bed, try to remember that those who are just waking up were asleep, unaware of all that you did. Give it and them time. They will come around. Ooh, that's about the sovereign. Give it and them time. If you're in the midst of an awakening, the process never ends. Treat the time as deeply sacred and give yourself ample space to ground and integrate the extreme changes you're going through. Treat yourself with gentle care and give yourself plenty of time to integrate and rest, no matter how spontaneous. Water your precious seeds and let them take root. Trust which seeds are for the world and which are just for you. Sometimes precious jewels need time to land and be cradled in your hands before they can be passed around. The deeper your roots, the deeper the impact you'll have. Trust the timing of your life. Ooh, beautiful. All right, pile number 2. That is what I have for you. I hope this reading helped you. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Venmo, Cashapp, PayPal if you'd like to tip me for my readings. I appreciate it, but it's never expected. Links down below. My Patreon, where you get exclusive content, early access to content. There's readings that you won't get anywhere else, weekly readings. Definitely check it out. It really helps support my channel if you want to join. And if you would like to get crystals, this tarot deck, and so much more, be sure to head to BowLife's website, which will also be linked down below, and use code PUMPKIN10 for 10% off your order. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All right, friends, I love you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hello there, pile number 3. If you chose the rose quartz pendulum, this is going to be your pile. And I love pendulums, especially a rose quartz one, because rose quartz, if you didn't know, is one of my probably favorite crystals. But pendulums are great. I know people have a lot of stories about them and how they've worked for them or what has been different for them. But I really believe that it is always up to the practitioner, and that the energy that you put into the pendulum is what you're going to get out of it. I personally do use pendulums in my own practice. I think that they're really helpful in connecting us with our own energy. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this up here for you. And, as stated before, if you'd like to get a pendulum for yourself or any of the crystals, rings, etc., I will link BowLife shop down below. And don't forget to use pumpkin10 for the code pumpkin10 for 10% off your order. So this reading for you, my beautiful friends, as a gentle guidance for you, what I see in the cards and what Spirit is conveying to me, we have the 9 of Diamonds, the 8 of Crystals, the Knight of Crystals, the 4 of Cups, and the 10 of Diamonds. I feel like many of you maybe are working towards figuring out what you want to do for the long term and asking yourself what is going to get you to this place. Because the 9 of Diamonds is about having enough financial gain to kind of enjoy yourself, to relax, to balance work and play, and to really bask in the abundance that you've created for yourself. So I feel like with this, some of you might just be focused on creating that right now, and you're looking for the opportunities. And Spirit is actually conveying to me that you are on the right path for this. You are seeking the right things. Maybe you've recently started on like a new platform, I'm hearing, or like if you're trying to do something online. Spirit is saying you are looking in the right place, and it's good for you to continue to push forward on these goals, because the Knight of Crystals is the night that really talks about going after something with passion in mind, going after something with your creativity, your creative pursuits. And I am hearing that some of you might feel like you have so many passions or so many things that you want to create that there almost isn't enough time in the day, or that you are stuck in the planning phase, meaning you continue to keep planning, but there's not a whole lot of movement going on. And don't get me wrong, the planning stage is part of the movement, meaning when we are planning things out, we're doing something about it. However, until we actually start to put the work in, we're not going to start to reap the rewards of the 10 of Diamonds. So the Four of Cups, the reason I'm saying that is the Four of Cups tells me that there is a lot of things you could be doing, but it's almost like you're stuck in this like, oh, which one, or which is correct, or what should I be doing? It's a very like fast-paced energy of trying to figure out what is the right path instead of just trying something out and seeing how it goes. Because Spirit is also saying if you're worried about time, you're not going to waste your time on anything that you decide to try to pursue. That might just be a very specific message for some of you. But with the 10 of Diamonds, Spirit also wants you to know that you're on the right track. The 10 of Diamonds, in terms of like business endeavors, your own financial health, your own financial well-being. And I would say it includes the family lineage to like a small degree, but this is really a symbol to you that you will gain abundance from whatever you set your heart to. And you don't need to worry about the concerns of the finances if that's something that you've been worried about, because the 10 of Diamonds is the promise of not just enough money for yourself, but enough money for an entire lineage, like and enough money to really set yourself up well. And so if that is something you've been concerned about, I feel like what Spirit is saying is that you're going to have that available to you as you make these decisions. And I also feel like there is this energy as well of like, you really need to make sure along this process that you're filling up your own cup, because if you're looking outside of you, looking at money or items or a new home or something like that, this can eventually become really unfulfilling, meaning you might get to this place where you have the money to do all the things that you've wanted to do, or create what you've wanted to create, or live in a way that you want to live, but eventually once you've purchased, like it's not going to fill the void. If there is any kind of void inside right now that is making you feel unsettled with yourself, gaining any kind of material success, you're going to be brought back right to where you currently are, because we have to actually do the internal work first. And I wouldn't even say first. I feel like that's not correct. It's not that we have to do it first. It's part of the process though, because many of us feel that, and you may relate to this, we can't do the internal work because we're so stressed out. We're living in chronic survival mode. And when you're living in chronic survival mode, you can't even begin to think about how you could possibly do the internal work and ask yourself what really truly fulfills you that isn't about money or financial gain. But what Spirit is kind of saying, as I would say almost a warning, is that is where you'll end up if we don't do both at the same time. Even if it's little by little, you'll end up in a place where maybe you're able to afford all of these things, and that's wonderful, and you're able to do more and take care of yourself better. But you'll end up feeling that void creep up again. And then oftentimes that can lead to us over purchasing things or trying to fill the void with shopping or making purchases or like just putting more stuff around us, when in reality it's an imbalance inside that isn't allowing us to feel fully loved and supported by the universe, by our angels, by our spiritual team. And if you feel like that's something you just can't touch right now and you need to focus more on the financial, I do believe that Spirit is saying to you that that's okay, but just know that that process will come after the fact of diving in more and working on the things that genuinely make you happy and glow from the inside out, that aren't about material pursuits. And there's nothing wrong. I don't want to give you the wrong impression here. There's nothing wrong with seeking material and financial stability. In fact, I think it is one of the most beautiful gifts that we can give to ourselves, is to align ourselves with the energy of abundance. Because yes, there are a lot of evil people out there that do evil shit with money, but this is why it's so important that we get good people with kind hearts that want to help. That's why it's so important for us to gain financial wealth, so that we can also have a stake in changing things. So I don't think it's wrong to pursue the path of money either. I don't think it's wrong to want that wealth for yourself. You know, I always joke that people say money can't buy happiness, but like, have you ever had like really good health care and also been able to afford all of your bills with ease? Because there's a lot of people that can't do that right now, or haven't gotten to that place where they can. I shouldn't say can't, because I believe it's always an option, but sometimes it takes more work than we're ready for, or we're in a place that seems a lot more limiting. So, you know, I do kind of somewhat stand by that money can't buy happiness, but I do think it can to a degree, because if it can make us comfortable enough to be able to go in and do the work, then yes, it can buy happiness to an extent. So I do feel like, though, right now where you are on your journey, keep following what lights you up and what makes you passionate and what you really feel called to spend your time and energy on, because there is something for you in that, and it will be a good thing. We also have for you the 5 of Air, the King of Fire. Ooh, the King of Fire right over the Knight of Crystals. That's nice. And the Ace of Earth. So I feel like with these 3 cards, we have Spirit is asking you to take off your mask, because the 5 of Air, this card, we have this woman that's blindfolded and she's holding a mask in front of her, and it's very Ooh, I'm also hearing for y'all that Spirit communicates to you with dragonflies. If you see dragonflies, know that that is your guides communicating with you. But with the 5 of Air, we have this blindfolded woman holding a mask of her face in front of her. And I think what this is really foretelling for you is that, again, it's that deep internal work, because we will constantly, and all of us are guilty of this to some degree, there is this constant need or desire or want to mask up in certain situations. And I don't mean mask up like the panini, the panorama, you know, the thing. I'm not talking about that. When I say mask up, I'm talking about your personality. We hide parts of ourselves. We feel like we have to act a certain way in front of certain people. There is something about us is not aligning with our true authentic self, but you're uncovering that now is what I'm hearing. You're working towards that now, and your guides want you to know that they're very proud of you for doing the work that it takes to get to that place, because I feel, and Spirit knows, that you've been uncomfortable for a long time, and you're doing a really good job. I think some of you just really need to hear that you're doing a really good job of coming through and allowing yourself to be who you are at your fullest expression. And this is the most beautiful gift that you can give to yourself and the world around you. And I know that, and I see that here in the cards, because we have the King of Fire. The King of Fire is authentic, passionate, creative, fun-loving, charismatic, sociable. And I feel like I just got the chills when I said this. I'm getting it like up my legs and into my sacral chakra, which the sacral chakra rules our seed of creation. And it's literally where, like, you know, if we are having children, that's where we like grow a baby. Or it's where our like sex organs are. It's literally the seat of creation. And I feel like right now, that's the area that you are currently working on, is that deep sense of creativity. So if you ever feel called to do like any kind of chakra meditation, Spirit is also saying that doing meditations for your sacral chakra will be really helpful right now to kind of unlock your natural gifts and talents and allow you to express them unapologetically. And I'm also hearing, this is so random, but I'm also hearing that you have like really beautiful hair. Like you have really beautiful hair, or like whatever you're wanting to change up about your hair, like Spirit is saying, yes, do it. It's going to gain you even more confidence. So that's just a random side note. And then with the Ace of Earth, this is about a brand new beginning in your career. This is a brand new beginning in your financial abundance. So set intention for what you want right now out of whatever you're creating and what you're doing, because this is really potent energy. The Ace of Earth, or aces, are always gifts from the universe, and they are always new beginnings in something. You having that right over the 10 of Diamonds, which is literally one of the most fortuitous cards, at least for financial gain, is beautiful. You're literally getting a reset or a restart in your finances. That's great. So we also have for you the card of the One. And we have for you the card of the Stone. Very interesting. So the One, this is really interesting because, and I have all these decks linked down below, including the one from Bow Life, if you're wanting to get any of them for yourself. But the One, often we refer to like the one as like finding the one, right? Finding our person or whatever. And what's really interesting is we actually are the one. It's not about the other person. It's not about finding that special penguin that you're going to bond with for life. It's actually about becoming the one for yourself. And so I think what Spirit is also conveying here is that any changes that you're making right now to your career, to your finances, to your creativity, this is about you leveling up into the version of yourself that makes yourself proud. It's not about attracting someone else, finding someone else, letting somebody else do the work for you. This is about becoming someone that you admire, that you love deeply for yourself. And with the Stone, I also feel like this is coming through as a message that you are so powerful. I just got this vision of like, gosh, I feel like we get so many Harry Potter references in my readings, and I always need to state, because I think it's very important, that we can separate the lore from the creator, meaning J.K. Rowling from her work. I don't think that Hogwarts truly belongs to her. I think it belongs to us, and trans rights are rights. Trans men are men, trans women are women, trans people are beautiful humans, and we stand for that in this community. And if you don't, that's fine. This just might not be the community for you, because we over here on this cozy corner of the internet are as open and loving as we can possibly be, and as inclusive as possible. So I always feel like that's really important to bring up when we talk about Harry Potter, because I do know that there's a lot of negative stigma around a lot of the terrible things that the author has said. And I just want to, again, make that very clear that I definitely don't stand behind that. But I also don't think that Hogwarts belongs to her. I think it belongs to us. So with the Stone, of course, any of you that are Harry Potter fans are going to know what I'm about to say. But it makes me think of the Sorcerer's Stone, the Philosopher's Stone. Or it's funny too, because this image kind of looks similar to the Deathly Hallows, which if you haven't seen all the Harry Potter movies or read the books, this might not make a whole lot of sense to you. But the Deathly Hallows are basically all three. It's like having the power to resurrect, having like the best wand, and also having the ability to be invisible. And when you have all three, it's like the most powerful wizard or witch in the world, basically. And so I feel like what Spirit is saying, and I just got the chills again. This reading, y'all have some really potent energy. I feel like what Spirit is trying to convey to you is that you are so beyond powerful. You are so capable, and there's nothing inherently wrong or broken about you. You have what it takes to create this life for yourself. And I'm really feeling this deep urge that Spirit just wants to encourage you, because you're doing good things and you're going to continue to do good things in the world. And you're so needed right now at this time on the planet. So we also have for you, oh my God, I love this card. We have for you the card of feelings, and it says, emotions want to be felt. You really can't surrender something until you deeply feel it. Allow me, dear divine, to offer all the emotions to you, feeling them fully so they no longer hold me captive. I feel like many of you probably identify as highly sensitive people. You feel like you have all of the feelings. And sometimes I feel like you really judge yourself for being this way. Like you don't see it in other people. You're too soft for this world, etc., etc. And the thing is, it's not true. We've conditioned the world to believe that we're not allowed to feel things. You know, look at what we do to men. Look at how we tell men that they need to be strong and courageous and fight the battles and be the protector and don't feel things, don't cry. When in reality, we need all of it. There is nothing to demonize here. All feelings are valid. Even when we're in the middle of an argument and we think somebody is wrong, what we don't realize is oftentimes it's their trauma that's being projected outward. And, or vice versa, even with your own self, you know, you judge yourself for even having feelings. And it's okay. You're allowed to have them. It's safe for you to have them. In fact, having those emotions and those feelings bubble up to the surface or feeling like you're too sensitive for the world, to me, is just a clear indicator that the world needs you, because this is the paradigm shift that we need. And you are needed. You are important. You are an important piece of the puzzle right now in particular. I believe that this pile in particular, y'all chose to incarnate at this time to bring that to the surface, to create success, but to do it in a way that really honors the human experience. Because right now, everybody working, I mean, if you're happy doing that, I condone it. I think it's fantastic, but it's not for everybody. And I feel like the current paradigm of the 9 to 5, which really ends up being more than that because everybody ends up working 80 hours, which is crazy. You know, it's not pro-human. It's very tiring and exhausting, and we feel like we can barely make it and we can barely push through and we're not doing enough, and if we don't do more, we're not going to make it, and this world is too hard to do anything in. And frankly, I think that's true. I do think that this world is difficult, but I think that you're here to show people that it can be done in a different way, and you have to keep paving your own path. Keep going. You don't need to take anybody on the journey with you. It is most important that you listen to yourself and your internal guidance system. We also have for you the card of forgiveness. Healing comes from acceptance. Help me, dear universe, to fully accept what is, knowing that this alone... Wait, let me read that again. I'm sorry. Healing comes from acceptance. Help me, dear universe, to fully accept what is, knowing that this alone will open me to the new. So I think this is also a lot about having self-forgiveness. I'm hearing that some of you are really sad about not being farther along in life than you thought you would be. And Spirit is saying you need to allow yourself to mourn that, to mourn for your younger self, but also to learn to forgive yourself. Because it's okay. You're not beholden to your 8-year-old self's dreams. And you can create new dreams at any time. And the last card we have for you is the card of the universe. And I love this card. I think it's so symbolic, again, of how powerful you are. And it's a reminder that you co-create your own reality. And what you see projected into your reality is often, it's from us. It presents the lessons that we need to learn. It presents us with the people that are here to teach us. It presents to you ways to heal and shift constantly. Especially those of you I'm hearing that have friends or family that are really in your corner right now, that are always giving you book recommendations and podcast recommendations and maybe spell casting recommendations. If there's somebody in your corner that's always trying to help and suggest things. Now, remember, only you are going to know what your healing journey looks like and what your path looks like. Nobody else can decide that for you, not even me. Not even me with my cards. I can't decide it for you. You have to make those decisions, and it's ultimately up to you. However, maybe just try some of the things that you're always hearing. Instead of just saying, oh, this is good, I like that, but put something into practice, especially as we're entering Virgo season right now. If you're watching this when this video is new, Virgo season is all about your routines, your wellness, your health, and serving others. And so at this time, if you feel called to make changes in your routine, try. Don't do it to a point where you're stressing and pressuring yourself to get through it, but just try. Try something different. Try something that's been suggested to you. See if it doesn't make you feel better. And know that you are the co-creator of your own reality. And it takes time for change to happen, which is a good thing. Because think about that. If we're constantly creating our reality and we're thinking all of these super terrible thoughts, aren't you so glad that all of those things don't manifest and materialize? And this isn't about spiritual bypassing. This isn't about thinking your way into being positive. It is about feeling your way into it. Something else that needs to be said is, I want all of you to remember that struggle with mental health, that struggle with depression or anxiety, that your spirit guides still love you. Your spiritual team still supports you. They cry with you. They sit there with you. They're always available to you. And the universe isn't going to deal you the shittiest deck in the world because you don't feel mentally well. You can still manifest from a place of feeling downtrodden, and it's not going to churn out the worst, I promise. I am living, breathing proof of that, and so are countless others. You don't have to be perfect to manifest your desired reality. Now we're going to do a little bit of book divination with this book, Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. We're just going to flip to a random page and see what we get. Okay. Ooh, I feel like we need to read both of these. So we have Call Yourself Home and Back to Center. We're going to start, this is on page 186 if you have the book. And we have Call Yourself Home. As we move through our lives, we can leave parts of us behind through trauma, extreme anger, or heartache. The same can happen as we journey from lifetime to lifetime. However, we have the power to call these missing pieces back home. And this meditation is a great tool to do just that. Oh my God, I literally just said to y'all, try changing something. Try this meditation, okay? Close your eyes and draw your attention to the breath. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. And breathe out for 8. Repeat this process 3 times. Close your eyes and continue to breathe in and out really deeply. Now imagine an amazing, powerful magnet at the center of your heart. Breathing in and out, call all the lost parts of you back home. The parts of you lost through traumatic experiences. The parts of you lost through heartbreak, soul ache, deep disappointment. The parts of you lost through not being truly seen, being underestimated and hurt. Continue breathing as all of the parts of you are effortlessly pulled back home. Affirm, I call all lost parts of me home. I am home. I am home. I am home. Beautiful. Now we have one more to read. I think this is another meditation. It says, back to center. When we are in the flow of our energy, when we are in the flow, our energy is balanced. We are not pushing or resisting. We are energetically centered. When we are energetically centered, we are ready to receive. My friend Robin Silverton taught me the following exercise, and it is perfect for getting your energy balanced in an instant. I love it because it takes less than 10 seconds and you can do it absolutely anywhere. Stand with your feet flat on the ground. Take a few deep breaths and draw your attention to the soles of your feet, noticing where your weight is. Is it forward in your toes or back in your heels? If your energy is forward, you're probably stuck in striving, pushing, forcing, controlling, and moving too fast. I used to live here. In this energetic state, we are able to let the universe or anyone help us. We are controlling or we are unable, we are unable to let the universe or anyone help us. We are controlling or giving rather than allowing and receiving. If your weight is back on your heels, then you're probably waiting around before you feel ready to act. In this energetic state, you are lacking the fire to get up and go, to make stuff happen, to meet people halfway. Notice where your energy is without judgment and bring it back to center so that it is equally spread through the soles of your feet. Affirm. Everything that is calling me is already on its way. I trust that the universe is doing its part in delivering it to me. I show up and receive it all. So that's what I have for you. This book is beautiful. It's just a bunch of like short passages that talk about following what lights you up and why that's so important. And I think this book for you, pile number 3 in particular, would be a good one. It's one that I recommend all the time. It's one of my personal favorites, and one that really helped me through my own dark night of the soul period and my own soul searching. But that is what I have for you, pile number 3. Please don't forget to check out Bow Life and use that coupon code for 10% off, pumpkin10, if you decide to make any purchases. And do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. If you would like to tip me for my readings, I have my Cashapp, Venmo, PayPal listed down below. It is not an expectation, but always appreciated. And I also have my Instagram, my TikTok, if you want to follow me. Horoscopes just went up for Virgo season over there. And last but certainly not least, if you would like to join the Patreon, I would certainly appreciate it. It really helps my channel and what I'm able to do and create here for free. So I have exclusive readings over there. I have weekly energies that we do every single Monday together. I kind of read the energy of the week for you. There's the card of the month. You get early access to horoscopes, bonus content, and hopefully before the year is through, we are supposed to be adding like journal prompts in as well. So I'm also kind of wanting to start like a book club type thing, but I don't know. I was thinking about adding it to one of the tiers, doing like a book club as part of it, just so that we can also do like reading and stuff. I don't know, something I'm considering. But anyways, Pumpkin, I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you got something out of it and you feel that the divine is present with you. And I love you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.